Hello, it is me again. This is a really late mental health update. I'm so sunburnt, so I'm very sore. But I'll get to that later. What did we talk about? Oh, this week at my appointment, we because I've been seeing someone, fairly steadily. We've only been on a couple dates, and we're not, like, official yet. But I've been seeing someone, and it's been going really well. And we kind of talked about that, Petey, you were on my clothes. Sorry, my clothes are laying on the floor, and Petey had the whole room to lay down, but he laid down on my clothes. Oh, now he's, like, spreading out, like, starfishing over the entire pile, so great! But anyway, yeah, so I've been seeing someone fairly steadily, and it's been going really well, and I'm really happy that it's going well, because I was kind of scared of the idea, after my last relationship, which, that's a whole nother video I'll probably make one about eventually, but I was really scared of the idea, so I'm glad it's going well, but, there were some anxieties that were kind of coming up, and it wasn't anything that, I mean, it was things that he was doing, but they weren't things that were wrong, and it's just more like my brain, you know, catastrophizing everything, like, worst possible outcome ever. That's just kind of like what my brain was doing, so I found myself having to step back a little bit, and just kind of process a little more, and then I was able to kind of calm myself down, but those thoughts kept coming up, and we talked about that in my appointment today, like, I talked to my doctor about how, with my last relationship, we were in constant contact, 24/7, at work, overnight, we were, you know, talking to each other constantly when we weren't sleeping in the same room. Normally, I would be at his house every single night sleeping, so we were pretty much together, and we were in contact with each other 24/7, and, you know, if there was someone that wasn't talking to the other person, it was because something was wrong. It was because they were mad, or they were frustrated with the other person. That was the only time we didn't talk to each other, and we didn't see each other. And even then, we still saw each other and just, like, sat silently in the same room. But now, with this new guy that I'm seeing, it's not like that. And I think it's good for me, because I've never had that before, where it was, you know, we have our independent lives outside of each other. All the relationships that I've been in have been, there is no you and your friends or me and my friends, it's us and we, and, like, that's it. We don't have independent lives outside of each other, so it's good for me to kind of, you know, be seeing someone and like someone and share that connection with someone, but also still have my own life outside of everything, and for him to have his own life outside of me. But it's still, because I've never had that before, my brain is just kind of like, whoa, what's going on? And kind of causing anxiety. Like, not like panic attacks, but little, like, is that my brain, or is that something that's actually important? You know, like, when we talk to each other, like, we're not in constant communication all the time, and so when I respond back and he doesn't respond back right away, I get a little anxious about it. Like, is he bored with the conversation we're having? Is he bored with me? Does he not like me as much as I like him? Did I say something wrong? Is he mad at me? There are little, like, anxious thoughts like that. but now anxious Natalie, or logical and rational Natalie, it's a little easier for her to come forward and be like, stop, hold on a second, he's at work. You know, because like when you're at work, you obviously can't be texting 24/7. Or like, no, he told me that he was hanging out with friends, and you know, you don't want to be on your phone with someone else when you're hanging out with your friends, like constantly. Like, you're not hanging out with your friends then, you're just kind of there and they're hanging out with each other. So it's like, or like, you know, I have to tell myself, maybe he's just not around his phone right now. Maybe he's in the shower, maybe he is playing a video game and his phone's across the room and he doesn't want to pause the game to run across the room to go get it right away. So logical Natalie's doing really well at being able to come forward and kind of slow me down and just kind of say, hey, wait a second, process this and actually think logical. So that's good, and I talked to my doctor about it, and she said that I was making really good progress at not being so irrational. So that's good, because I wanted to get out of the habit and actually like think and process things before I actually like acted on something or felt a certain way about something. And then the guy that I'm seeing hung out the next day, and because I was really stressed out and I was just kind of feeling lonely because I was home by myself. So I went to his house and we hung out, and in the conversation we had, because he was like asking me questions about what I was stressed out about and what he can do to help and what would make me feel better. And within that conversation I brought up the whole, you know, not responding back right away. It was kind of causing me anxiety and kind of stressing me out. But I told him it was still nothing that he was doing. Like, I stressed that so much so he didn't feel bad about it. And I just told him, like, this was just my brain that was making me think these things. But then logical Natalie comes forward and, like, switches it around. And that I was working on it. And what I needed from him, from that situation, is just to kind of, you know, be a little more understanding, like not necessarily like put up with if I, you know, get upset that he was at work and he didn't respond back right away. Just be a little more like understanding and patient with it, because I am trying, and I'm working on getting better. And he couldn't have responded more perfectly. He just like pulled me, we were cuddling, and he just like pulled me in closer and said, I'll add more emojis to our conversations then, like more smiley emojis, to show that he actually, you know, is trying and likes me and is putting an effort into things, which was nice. I was afraid to tell him because I didn't want him to think like, whoa, like she's way too needy. Again, with the brain catastrophizing everything and thinking of the worst possible outcome. Like, I was afraid to tell him because I didn't want him to think that I was super needy and that I was gonna, like, as we got closer and our relationship progressed, that I was gonna get like more and more crazy and more obsessive, and that I had just like so much baggage that he wasn't able to deal with. Because I'm not trying to be crazy, I'm not trying to be needy, I'm not trying to be obsessive. I do have baggage, but I'm working on not letting that baggage affect me so much, and he was really understanding of that. So I was really, really happy. Yeah, so I'll keep you updated on that and see how things go. And then work has been super busy because now schools are starting to get out, so everyone is like coming to the mall and hanging out. And yes, it's just been like super crazy. But the last couple shifts I've worked, they've had me in a slower store, so it's just nice to have a little bit of a break, but still, you know, Like, physically, I didn't want to be there because I was so tired and so stressed out because it was so busy, but financially I kind of had to. So, so I was like kind of torn. I was like, it's kind of a lose-lose situation. Like, it's super busy at work and I get stressed out and even more tired, but if I don't work, then I don't have money. But they put me in a slower store the last couple shifts I've worked, so that was nice to have like a little break and still get the same amount of money. And then I haven't really done much besides work. What else is new? But today, it's like past midnight. It was Friday and now it's Saturday. But today, so Friday, I guess, I'm just gonna say today. Today means Friday. Today, Charisma and I hung out pretty much all day because since I started working there, I have never had a Friday off, never had a Saturday off, and never had a Sunday off. Like, I've worked every weekend day, every weekend. And it was just kind of frustrating because I was like, I want at least one day to have a weekend, you know? Tuesdays are my weekends, but everyone else has work or school on Tuesdays. But yeah, so today, Friday, I got off. Finally, I got a Friday off, and I was so excited I almost cried. But today, Charisma and I hung out pretty much the whole day. She had a half day today because she finished her finals, so she got to leave at like 10:30ish. So then I went and picked her up, and we went to the beach. It was super cold, and I'm super sunburned. But it was fun to just kind of like relax and go swimming and not really have to worry about going somewhere later or doing something later. And then Charisma had to go to work, but she was only there for 2 hours. So when she got off work at 5, I went and picked her up, and then we went and saw the new Captain Underpants movie. And then we went to Como Lake and just did a loop around Como Lake and played Pokemon. And that was really fun. And then we came back here and hung out for a little bit. And it was just nice to have like a whole day of just not working and like hanging out with someone. It was nice. It was. I want to try to do that more often, but with how much I work, it's kind of touch and go when that is. But we'll see. I think that's it. Like, I don't really have anything exciting to update you on aside from that, and there's nothing that I know of really coming up. So yeah, this has been my mental health update number 22? I think 22 or 23, I don't know. You'll find the title of the video tells you. But this has been another mental health update, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.